Like my next guests, I too was in a dilemma as to why October the 2nd wasn't known as Shastri Jayanti, when we all celebrated as Gandhi Jayanti. And I think that was the seed, if I'm not mistaken, that my next guest, Mr. Vivek Agnihotri, started thinking about this film, the Tashkent Files.
Yeah.
And welcome on the show, Shweta.
Thank you so much, Devansh.
How are you both doing?
Very
Great.
Thank you.
Devansh, always pleasure to meet you.
You're welcome. Okay. Now, was that the seed?
Yeah, see, when you become child is the father of man, actually. The children teach you a lot. On 2nd October, I was just sitting and all the newspaper ads were on Gandhi. Twitter was abuzz with Gandhi tweets and everybody was talking about him. So I told my son, 2nd October is also Shastri ji's birthday. He said, who Shastri? And that's what triggered off. When you'll see the film, you will see how I've used this.
The nuance, why?
Yeah, I've used it because this is where the film originated from. And then I just tweeted and I said, let's not forget, friends, today is also Shastri's birthday.
Yes, and I saw that tweet. Yeah. I actually commented and it was almost about to retweet, and then I thought, no, I might just get a lot of trolling or flag for it, and I just deleted it.
Oh.
Because I was so with you on that.
Yeah.
So with you on that.
So after that tweet, a lot of people wrote to me, why don't you make a film on his death? So I said, everybody writes, make a film on somebody's life. This is the first time somebody is saying make film on somebody's death. And that's how this journey began.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
How did this beautiful damsel sitting here came across?
So there's a very interesting story behind that. She happened to us, It was destined. She was destined to do this role. She deserved it, Talent has a very wonderful quality. It can take time, it can take you through many, many routes, but eventually it will take you where you belong. If you're a genuinely, sincerely, honestly talented person, not somebody who has talent and wants to use and manipulate his or her talent to find success. When you surrender to your talent, then the opportunities find you. For her, every other character in the film, Devansh, we had no B plan. We had decided we'll cast this person and we cast that person. It's only the actress role. First, I wanted to, in my first draft, the protagonist was a single mother with a child.
Oh, okay.
And I went to one very competent and one of my favorite actresses, but then she felt that it's too political for her, and she said, people will kill me, if I do this film, because whatever I do, people. So then I slowly thought, then I said, why am I manipulating audience's emotion? We are making an honest film. So making a single mother, then with a child, unnecessary.
Too much.
So I'm exploiting, I'm not making kahani, So I said, let's be honest to it. Then who would be interested in Shastri ji? When I started speaking to studios, everybody, all the top guns, people who claim to know cinema, said that, who would be interested in Shastri? The youth of today knows nothing about them, therefore they won't be interested. And that's when I said, oh man, this is the reason why all the youth will be interested, because they don't know. Yeah. When I told my son that Shastri, he was second prime minister, he was curious, really? Tell me more. And then I told him he died like this and mysterious, and he wanted to know the story.
Yeah.
And I today stand vindicated because after the trailer, it's only the youth which has been supporting the film, and they are taking it forward. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, Shweta, I want to know, you're playing a journalist in this film who is urging to find the truth.
Right.
When was the last time you really, in your real life, wanted to find the truth? And what was it?
When I was making my documentary film, because I am a Vietnam graduate and I studied journalism, I used to write columns, and I was making a documentary about the declining visibility of Indian classical music in youth today. And I spent 4.5 years researching and interviewing the music giants of the country. And I used to learn the sitar. And literature, cinema and classical music has had a very strong presence in my house, in my upbringing. So whenever I interacted with a lot of my friends, they said classical music was not cool. And I thought that's not right, it's just that you're not exposed to it. And it's very cool. Trust me, just listen to Zakir Hussain, you'll know what am I talking about. So I interviewed A.R. Rahman, Amit Trivedi, Vishal Bharadwaj, Shiv Kumar Sharma, Hari Prasad Chaurasia ji, Shubha Mudgal, Pandit Jasraj, Dr. L. Subramaniam, Kiran Seth, who's the founder of Spik Meke. And I spent 5 years researching it and funded it myself. It's online, it's on Netflix now. So that was the last time I was really fighting for truth. In fact, if I was not getting back to acting, I really wanted to continue making documentaries. I wanted to, in fact, reach out to HRD and IMD and do something about the classical scene in the country.
So, Mr. Director, मेरे अच्छे प्यारे दोस्त, will the controversy continue, or you think we will find the answer to the question who killed Shastri?
I really, honestly speaking, I don't know what will be the outcome. I don't know if we can find the truth, specific truth related to Shastriji's death. But one thing definitely this film will do, even in small proportions, it will make young people aware that in a democracy, the first fundamental right should be right to truth.
Well said.
We have somewhere forgotten that in India, not everywhere else. In UK, US, the right to truth is a very important thing, you know. But in India, we don't know the truth of anything. Nothing. There are no documents, there are no evidences, the witnesses turn hostile all the times, and that's why we never reach anywhere. Everybody is in a systematic manner trying to kill the truth. And that's why I think this film will open our eyes, and you'll realize how bloody important truth is in our democracy.
Yeah.
So this film is about right to truth.
Okay, so you wanted to add something?
Yeah, you see, cinema really reflects society, and we've had examples in the past where cinema has really sort of contributed in movements which have become movements. If you remember, after Rang de Basanti, there were these candle march protests that went on India Gate, or call it
the Jessica Lal case.
Or even if you go back in time in 1950s and 60s, there were all these industrializations, Naya Daur and Kala Patthar. There were so many films that was reflecting society. Right. Many more like that.
Even Pink.
Even Pink, for that matter. I think a huge credit to this whole discussion that has come up, the debate that has come up, is because of Pink.
Consent.
So I think because the film is set in a consumable 2019, and it has this fictional, obviously according to the script, an inquiry commission that has been set, and that's probing into Shastriji's death that happened 53 years ago. I think the biggest victory for us as a team would be if actually an inquiry commission is set up and people declassify the files, and I think that's in citizens' hands. They really have to raise questions, because the film is giving you that opportunity. It is telling you that it's going to awaken a lot of your subconscious questions. There are a lot of conscious questions we ask, but a lot of subconscious questions remain in subconscious. So I think this is going to trigger that.
The minds. Vivek, how much of fiction do you use in a non-fiction?
See, this is a very strange format film. I don't think in India we have done any...
Witnessed anything like this?
Yeah, anything like this. Though my film is nowhere even remotely close to JFK, it's got nothing to do with it. But today I was seeing this American guy who does reviews of trailers. What's his name? Very famous guy.
Trailer reviews.
Yeah, his name. Very famous guy, this American. He sits with a girl and does it. And he said that this film looks like JFK. Though we have nothing, absolutely nothing. The only film I was inspired was by 12 Angry Men. And though this film has nothing to do with that, that's a different content. But I said it's not a bad idea if opposing views come together.
Yeah, why not?
And you find the truth, through
absolutely.
that. So whatever you see in the film related to Shastriji's murder mystery, that is all based on evidences, documents and proofs, records of parliament and everything.
Wow.
But the characters who are discussing it, or characters who are investigating it, though they are fictitious, but when you see the film, you will find that, yes, I know this character, I know him. You can touch him and feel him and you say, yes.
Hua rahega, ye cheez hui rahegi.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Is it easier than, Vivek, to make a movie like the Tashkent Files, knowing that you're so actively, informed and aware about the political scenario that's going on in our country?
It's easy also, it's difficult also. It's difficult because in Bollywood there is an unwritten law. Don't touch political films. Don't make films on known figures. Don't make films on controversial figures and stuff like that. If they sense little bit of controversy, you'll find most of the people back out. So there's no funding for these kind of films. You have to find funding from various sources. The second thing is, these films require a lot of patience, love, you have to nurture them. These have no deadlines, these are beyond deadlines. These films, you have to give a lot of time to R&D until you reach there. You say, okay, I'll do R&D on this. Unless you reach there, how will you start making?
True.
Here everybody says, I have signed you today, make the film yesterday. So that is why these are not very Bollywood friendly subjects. Third thing is, the minute you finish the film and you say, okay, I'm releasing it, then people from all the sides start attacking you. Somebody says, "Arey, ye to unke liye banai hai, arey, so it's very difficult, to make it. But then at the end, it's great fun. I enjoy that struggle. I enjoy that kind of resistance from people. I really love it. When people resist something, it means there is a lot of meat in it.
I'm sure you've got threats and probably I don't know what all you faced in the last few years. You've been so vocal about it. Sometimes I get scared on Twitter, like ऐसा हाथ ना आ जाए अंदर, you know. But I mean, I think when you said the word R&D, and the moment I saw the trailer, I wanted to do a bit of R&D myself. And I realized that Lal Bahadur Shastri, before he became the Prime Minister, and the gap when he immediately became the Prime Minister after Jawaharlal Nehru's death, his Congress party itself was, you know, against him being the second Prime Minister.
True.
Because for them, I think it was Morarji Desai who would have taken the seat. And I'm not surprised that Congress has never found an alliance, whether it's 2019 or it was back then within or outside. You think this was also the germ, because in your trailer you haven't put that fact out, because it was all about either poisoning, you know, his death is because of the poisoning in the milk, to you know, various other things. But what if it was an inside thing? What if it was the Congress who didn't want him?
See, it's not appropriate for me to say anything on this particular question at this point of time before the film releases, you know, because then 100 more people will come and start cutting me into 50 pieces, you know. They'll come after my life. But that's not the thing. It's not that I'm scared of anyone. See, the film, I have focused it only on his death, so that the youth knows that when you don't know the truth of your Prime Minister's death, then you will never know any truth in this country. That's why it's very important for the youth to go and ask for the truth. That is the basic theme of the film.
Right.
But as far as Shastri is concerned, Shastri was made Prime Minister as a puppet Prime Minister by Kamraj. You know, who was the kingmaker.
Who was the kingmaker, correct.
Because they wanted to make Indira Gandhi, and Indira Gandhi was not experienced or qualified enough, and there was no consensus around her. So they said use him as a puppet minister, and after a few years they will change it and bring her on. But they failed. They failed because Shastri suddenly turned out to be a mass leader, and he became the first economic reformer of India, brought in Green Revolution, White Revolution.
Yes.
And Nehru had fought a very humiliating defeat we had with China. And he, in 65, Shastri, because of his acumen, strategic acumen, in fact, in CIA, lots of CIA reports, they have written him as the military Prime Minister of India. A successful military. Can you imagine this word with Shastri? आज मैं अगर बोल दूं किसी TV channel में कि Shastri was a military prime minister, all the anchors will kill me. You know, they'll come after my life. मारा पीटी हो जाएगी. But in CIA documents, he's been mentioned as the successful military prime minister. So he was very revolutionary in a way, and he was humble, simple, honest, very rooted, and people realized in 1965 that for a long time to come, what we think about Modi today or what we thought about Nehru or Indira Gandhi earlier, that it will be impossible to defeat him. He will remain Prime Minister for a very, very long time. I think that also became a reason for lots of international intelligence agencies like KGB and CIA, a matter of worry. Okay, it became a matter of worry for the kingmaker Kamraj himself. It became a matter of worry for aspirant prime ministers also. So Shastri suddenly became a matter of concern and worry for a whole lot of agencies. And few agencies collaborated to get him out of the way. There is no, when he was alive, these discussions were there and people knew about it.
Okay. Shweta, the hashtag who killed Shastri.
Yeah.
Did it ever trigger you after a while that, yeah, okay, who killed Shastri is fine, but hashtag why kill Shastri is also important? Have you addressed that in the film? And what do you have to say about it?
Not why kill Shastri. My hashtag question that came to my mind was what if he lived?
Okay.
My bigger question was
Brilliant,
that if he lived, the last 50 years of this country would have been different. Your and mine, ours, our present today, our future tomorrow would have been very different. So my Ragini, my character, asks who killed Shastri. I, in my head, wanted to ask what if he lived?
I agree with that. Because see, if he had lived, one thing is for sure, honesty would have been promoted. People would have said the top leader is honest. But after he wasn't there when Indira Gandhi became Prime Minister, in Parliament a question was asked about corruption. Okay, a lot of people ask why corruption is being promoted in the country, and you know what she said on records while researching on Shastri. I read it in Parliament records. I didn't know about it. I didn't know what she said before I was born. You know what she said? She said corruption cannot be stopped. It has become a worldwide phenomena, and that's how she justified corruption.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and since then corruption became a mainstream phenomena in this country.
I think it reflected in cinema also around that time.
Yeah.
You think so? As
Right,
you
if
said,
you think of it.
film is a
Reflects
reflection
society.
of a society. Yeah, why not? Okay, so I'm gonna name a few things. Okay, you're gonna tell me how interesting a conspiracy theory it was for you. Okay, both of you. Death of Princess Diana.
Ooh, quite intriguing.
A great film subject.
Yeah,
A great film subject.
I think a good arc for season 3 on Crown.
Okay, death of Michael Jackson.
Black or white?
Let's title it.
Great.
Yeah, right. Okay, death of Marilyn Monroe.
Definitely, some agencies were behind it.
I have limited knowledge on it. I have half-baked information on it.
Okay, death of JFK.
A puzzle which needs a closure.
Yeah, it needs a closure. About time. Again, it's about time. Yeah.
Okay, death of Sananda Pushkar.
Bataiye.
I would like
Needs
to
a
know
closure
what
as
happened.
well?
Of course, needs a closure for sure.
My English is not so good, so I really won't be able to comment on it.
Are you sure? It needs a closure.
I don't know so many jargons,
You don't.
I think
Yeah.
people have understood what I'm trying to say.
My next guests, they are so politically correct, if I may say that. Okay, I want to know, you mentioned about your first documentary, the music,
Yeah.
and I just heard the rap.
Yeah.
You want to rap? Your song from the Tashkent Files?
No, I'm
Do
not
you
a singer
rap?
at all. No.
Who raps?
I don't know. I don't.
How did that song come up? What was the idea
just we were
behind it?
sitting and we said, okay, see, the film has no songs.
Yeah.
And the kind of some background, few verses are there. They are very...
No lip syncs. They're just
they are-
background.
and they mean very different things in the film. So we said, how do we connect it? Because things have to run on music channels and all. How do we connect it with that? So we were saying, it's about the youth. It is about India. And let's pick up one song which everybody knows, everybody understands, and everybody has heard. So that's how we picked up Sare Jahan Se Acha. And there is also a little satire also. It says that Sare Jahan Se Acha you will be only when you know the truth behind things.
Okay.
Ye Sare Jahan Se Acha tabhi hoga when we don't have discrimination, when we don't have those kind of things. So that's how the film came about. And then slowly baat chalti gayi, and then we start talking to a lot of radio jockeys, a lot of RJs from different channels, competing channels. They came on board and they started singing, and one of them is a rapper, and then Shweta came, and that's how the song evolved.
I didn't sing. I'm just there in the video.
Yeah, you are. I thought you sang also.
No, I don't.
That's why Sare Jahan Se Acha is in small kids' voice. They have sung it.
Okay, I wanted to ask, you mentioned that a film like this, the takers are few, the studios are few. They want to back out because it's a conspiracy theory. Probably it's too controversial for them to touch it. How difficult was it then to get two icons, of Indian cinema together, pitch them together in one room? Mithun Chakravarti and Nasiruddin Shah.
They haven't worked together in last 32 years.
Yeah, imagine.
And I'm told, I don't know, 30?
4 years.
34 years. Yeah, they decided not to work with each other. I'm sure they must have been young and successful when they worked in some film. And after that, they said, no, we don't like.
Have you found the truth?
This is one truth I don't want to find. Because it's neither going to change my life or their life. Yeah, but without finding the truth, I brought them together. So that itself is a victory, that's a success. So, but in this film, they worked together so wonderfully, I can't tell you. When they were supposed to work on one scene on the sets, we were all very nervous and worried कि यार इतने साल बाद ये लोग आ रहे हैं, तो ऐसा होगा कि one sits in one corner, another sits.
Yeah.
And directors are always, this is the worst moment in a director's life, because there are two things I'm always scared of. When your wife shuts the door and doesn't talk to you. Okay, that is something I don't know how to handle. Second thing I don't know how to handle is when two actors don't talk to each other, because you get stuck. अगर उससे बात कर लो तो वो बुरा माने, उससे बात करो तो वो बुरा माने. So I was a little conscious, but when they came, they hugged, and then we sat down, and it was like kachori khao, samosa khao, and it became like a nice festival. And I remember after that, when Nasir Bhai was packing up, he said, in every film, I wait for the day when I have to wrap the shoot.
Right.
This is the first time I want the shooting to go on. Vivek, please, mere aur kuch din shooting kar.
I want to miss you guys. He literally said that.
And when I packed up Mithunda, the day when I wrapped him up, and that was the day Nasir and Mithun both shot together. So in the evening, I said, cake kata, taliyan baji, photo khichi, and Mithunda left. And we continued with our own work because we packed him up at about 4 o'clock and we were shooting till 6:30 or so. And we continued. Then after 1.5 hours, his manager came. He said, Mithunda is calling you. I said, but वो गए नहीं? कहते नहीं, वो हैं वैन में आपको बुला रहे हैं. मैंने कहा पता नहीं क्या हो गया. He's calling me to say, Vivek, वो scene सही नहीं था, change करो, ये करो, फिर से shoot. I was scared. I went there and he said, Vivek बैठ जा. कहता Vivek, Did I deliver what you expected me to deliver? I said, and more, you added so much of value. He said, are you satisfied with me? I passed your test. I said, yes. When I asked, "Gaye kyun nahi abhi tak?" He said, the character is haunting me. I'm not being able to leave this character, and I don't want to leave this character. I want to stay with him for some more time. And while he was talking, his eyes became teary. He started crying. And that's when I realized that all these actors, and that's why they are National Award winner actors, all these actors owned the character. They made it their own. They became that for some time. And that's why it was so difficult for them to leave the character.
Okay, I want to steer away from the film, but just keeping the root intact, which is called the conspiracy theory. Okay, in the words of Narendra Modi, who recently quoted in a newspaper daily, he mentioned no Hindus are terrorists. All right. Which of course then, if I had to see and dwell into it, it felt that okay, secularism's gone for a toss, the 42nd Amendment of the Constitution. But you think, has religion itself become a conspiracy theory?
See, I'll tell you what. Religion, what we understand, is not that religion which politicians address. Religion is a identity politics.
Okay.
You know, it's an identity politics. It's nothing more, nothing less. So when they address religion, they do not mean about your worshipping and all the things you have faith in. They don't mean Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. They don't mean Jesus Christ. They don't mean Muhammad. They don't mean all those things. All they mean is identity politics. Because what has happened, and this is an increasing trend in last 5-10 years. What has happened because of globalization? Everywhere big corporates go and they try to change the local culture. You know, and they say Coke, Pepsi. So because of that, the local things go away. Hallmark comes and they start celebrating Valentine's Day in India, which has no reference. This boy and girl in Meerut don't even know that Valentine was Saint Valentine, or they think Valentine is some brand, you know, which they have no idea. In fact, a lot of people in India think Valentine means love. You know, that's what they think. So when the local culture keeps getting attacked non-stop, then people want to go back to their roots. They want to understand who they are, and they want to clamp up to their religion, their identity. Why people fight so much for being an Indian, right? Why people are fighting to be British suddenly and Brexit and all? Why in US people are fighting to be Americans? Because those lines, geographical, cultural lines which are blurring, people are not geared up for that. And technology is moving very fast. So when he's saying, the thing is, there is one side which is trying to paint Hindus as terrorists, okay, and which is not a good sign, which is not a correct thing to do, right? So therefore, he's saying this in that context, that Hindus are not terrorists, and which is true. There is no example of Hindus being terrorists. So he's just defending that identity of Hindus and saying, no, you are good people, you are not bad people. You know, that's all he's trying to do.
Okay. Are you willing to now show your film to Rahul Gandhi?
Of course he can. Immediately after this I can tweet. I can tweet and I can say, yes, come. But he won't come. You know, he won't come, so there's no point. But in Delhi I invited a lot of people who belong to Congress and Communist Party. They came.
Oh, they came,
Of course. In fact, one very senior film critic also came, who's definitely an anti-BJP person. She came and she was there. And in Bombay, tomorrow also, day after when we were screening, I'm inviting Congress people. But the problem is some people don't want to come. Another thing I want to tell you is something which is very tragic. And I hope you keep it in your show and not delete it. Which is, professionals have started judging people, not the films. Some critics have made up their mind that they are not going to write about this film and they are going to try their best to destroy this film. And I have evidences of that.
That's a personal attack.
That's a personal attack, and they are saying, and the critics, that's one of the senior most critics who call themselves liberal. It is your bloody profession. You are being paid to review the film.
Absolutely.
Go and review the film. What are you trying to say? You have nothing to do with Shastri. You have nothing to do with truth. You have nothing to do with liberty and justice, which you keep talking about, but you want not to review the film because you hate Vivek Agnihotri. So your bias and prejudice against Vivek Agnihotri is making you do corrupt and dishonest professionalism. And that is my problem. Why won't they do it? They must go and review the film for what the film stands for, not what my political opinion is.
Okay. Shweta, I'll finish it off with the lady's answer. What has changed you as a person after you walked out of the Tashkent Files?
Well, I always had, of course, a deep respect for media, and that's why I studied media. But what changed within me was my respect, I think, just doubled in 10 folds or 100 folds, because I realized what a difficult job it is. It requires a lot of sacrifices. It's very risky. We hear about mysterious deaths and disappearance. You know, a lot of people, a lot of reporters and journalists, honest, truth-seeking journalists disappear, or they're asked to shut up. And you know, you see reporters at Warfront who are reporting us live from what's happening. And then there are Mumbai floods. They'll be like flooded till here, but they still report us. So this movie is dedicated to those honest journalists. It's dedicated to those truth seekers who unfortunately get into the slot of being corrupt or being whatever, fake news reporters and all that. Not all of them are that, there are good leaders also, like Lal Bahadur Shastri was a good leader. And you transcend your profession because you become a good person. So my takeaway from the film was my respect absolutely, as I said, doubling to many, many folds for the media.
Nice. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
But before you end, I just want to share a secret on your program with everybody. Do you know that?
Please.
This is the first film in the history of cinema, which is when you'll see the first frame of the film. This is dedicated to all the honest journalists of India.
Thank you so much. I feel
and I'm the one who fights with media all the time. This is why I fight. I want them to be honest.
Thank you so much for gracing Bollywood Times.
Thank you so much.